A real man ain't really nothing except some um a real man is just somebody that bends his will to whatever the dilemma, the social dilemma or the collective within the society needs or wants the man to be and or do. Every time when a man is conformed to a certain image or a role that society expects of him or desires him to be, he's shamed in not being a real man. Well, if you actually see, this is how you can fix this whole real man stuff and not let it bother you. A real man is nothing. Nobody cares about a real man. Nobody cares if you are a real man. If you are watching this right now, you want to talk about real man, high value man, this man, that man. Nobody cares. Um, the fakest men, the um the unrealist men by society standards in which they uphold the real manhood thing y'all got going on. Those type of people, they are upheld in a higher regard than the real man society shames men within the society to become. For example, a woman beater. They be like, well, we don't accept woman beaters. We don't like woman beaters. You know how many women been abused? You know how many women got their ass whipped? You know how many women got pistol whipped? You know how many women got their ass beat black and blue by their boyfriends that they didn't chose? Now you know how many of these men felt repercussions of we don't accept women beaters. Women beaters get punished. Women beaters get punched and beat up and all this kind of stuff. How many of them actually felt them repercussions? Because if that's the case, we will hear a tremendous amount of cases of man beat his girlfriend, blah blah blah, and a group of people just came up and beat him up and gave him what he deserved. You know how society be, and we'll have all this type of we have all this type of stuff that your society propels and projects that it is, which it really isn't. You can find this in multiple fabrics and levels of society. Like how in prison they'll say rapists and pedophiles get taken care of. How? Faggots run the prison system. And you want people to believe that rapists and pedophiles get taken care of in prison, in which, and then you can look up, how many gangs, sex traffic minors, children, little girls from ages, 10 to 13 to 14 to 15 to 16, as well as adult women. You can look this up. It's documented, as well as tons of books, various books written about these things. You can look this up. So then you have to ask yourself, and then you can literally look up these cases and look up the people within these cases, the people that were charged with these crimes. You'll see they're still alive. You'll see that they're still alive, still well in prison. So that automatically disproves the old rapists and pedophiles get taken care of in prison. As another example of society perplexing and projecting a thing that they want to be true, they project and uplift a value that they don't uphold. Just like, with the woman beater thing. The average woman beater today is not hated by people. They're only hated by people in word. But indeed, they are loved, and indeed, they are having a plethora of women still coming after them. And indeed, they have a plethora of friends, and they are a very important figure within their social groups. They are not, outcasted within their social groups. They're not anything that society would expect a woman beater to be, or the life of a woman beater to have based off the projection society gives woman beaters. Same as, the prison system and the gangsters that say, well, rapists and pedophiles get taken care of in prison. It's not what's projected out into the society is not really what actually is. And society does this a lot with a lot of different topics, not just, men and women relationships or, prison stuff and all that, or, it's just, it's a fabric of society that doesn't want to look to the truth of what is. And the truth of what is very, it's like when people say, well, looks don't really matter. Don't judge a book by its cover, or don't even judge me at all. Well, everybody judges a book by its cover. Everybody judges by people by their looks, as well as, judging people. Nobody really cares if somebody judges them. People need to realize what a judgment actually is. If I come up to you and say, if you come up to me and say, hey, I like your shirt, I like the stripes on your shirt, I like the black stripes and the gray you got going there, man, this is a really decent, clean shirt. I like the shirt that you got on, and it's a great collar, great touch, it looks great on you. Phenomenal. You're handsome in that shirt. You say that to me, I say, okay, thank you, I really appreciate it. Somebody else comes up to me and say, man, this shirt is ugly. I don't know why the hell you walked out of the house with all these black stripes on you and gray. It's so plain. What is wrong with this? Is a plain shirt. Look, you got what is this? A stain on your shirt? You got a stain on your shirt, man. Man, what are you talking about? Get away from me. Why you gotta be so judgmental? You see, the only difference between those two instances was positive and negative. The only difference was the judgment. The first judgment was positive towards me, so I had no really ill will towards the judgment that was being given. But the second judgment, the second guy that came around and said, well, your shirt is ugly, I felt some type of way about his judgment. So I'm like, well, don't judge me. But both people judged my shirt. Both people judged me. But I had a problem with the negative because I couldn't accept the criticism. So that's a judgment. So we all judge and we all accept judgment. Every time you accept a compliment, you are accepting somebody judging you. It's just a positive judgment. And when you don't accept somebody judging you, just feel like it is a negative judgment. So remember, we judge. So if anybody tell you, well, I don't judge, they're lying. Everybody judges. If I come outside and look at you and say, well, I like that hat. Hey, I like that hat you got on. That's a judgment. If I come outside and say, I don't like that hat you got on. Why did you wear that hat, man? You look like a faggot in that hat. Man, you better go back inside, go get another hat. That's a judgment. The only difference is positive and negative. But, like I say, people's meaning is always leading, and the judgment is like the wind. So yeah, it comes and it goes. So that's you see. See with me, I don't know. Like, I really don't like compliments. I feel weird when I get compliments. Like I'll be just walking down the street and people will compliment my shirt, and it's the craziest thing. You won't believe it if I tell you. Every time I get complimented, it's a shirt that has a hole in it. I'm not kidding you, man. It's a shirt that has a hole in it, and it's crazy. It makes me feel so weird. And it's like. It's like it's got a whole bunch of holes in it. It's like all the programming I went through as a child, as you need to dress decent, you need to wear this and this and this, and you need to look presentable. People like when you look presentable. All that thing is going through my mind, and as well as the compliment coming, is like